So a few weeks ago, there were some reports that the Warriors were no longer interested in acquiring LaMelo Ball or James Wiseman. And even during that time, I was like, yo, this has got to be a smokescreen. If there's anybody in the draft that makes the most sense for the Golden State Warriors, it has to be James Wiseman. And we just saw that more reports came out that they are very high on James Wiseman. And I gotta say, man, it makes the most sense by far. And if the Warriors are able to land him, this could definitely put them back into the dynasty category. So let's talk about it. Alright, so what is good, YouTube? It's your boy LegendaryEA. We are back here for another video, and today we're here to talk about James Wiseman and what I feel about him and how good I think he can actually be whenever he gets into the NBA. So if you guys enjoy these kind of videos, make sure to go ahead and spam that like button. Let's aim for 99 plus likes for another one. The last one that I did was with RJ Hampton. Check that out. I'll put a card to it in the top right hand corner. But regardless, man, I do hope you guys have just been enjoying all the videos on this channel. Of course, we've been heavy with the basketball stuff as far as 2K, the rebuilds, the NBA discussions. But we're back here to actually talk about James Wiseman because obviously this is the first time in a while where there's no definitive #1 pick. I mean, it really just depends on which team lands the pick and like what need they actually have. Because of course we know that last year Zion wasn't the most likely be the #1 pick. Like, I think we already knew that. The year before that, things were really starting to point to DeAndre Ayton a little early on. Like, so whenever he went #1, it wasn't surprising. Like, we already guessed that for a while. And then we all know that in 2017, Markelle Fultz was just the guy. Regardless, this is the first year where you can make an argument for almost like 3 players. There's an argument for LaMelo being the #1 overall pick. There's an argument for Anthony Edwards, and the same thing goes for James Wiseman. Now, I do gotta say, because I've said this multiple times, I do think that we're gonna look back at this draft in a few years, and LaMelo is gonna be having the best career or be the best player, because I do think that LaMelo has the best upside. But if you want to take somebody who has the highest floor and is more than likely gonna be a quality player no matter what, that guy is James Wiseman. So James Wiseman was #1 player coming out of his class last year, and he went over to the University of Memphis with Penny Hardaway. Now, at that time, he only played about 3 games due to the fact that he was deemed ineligible by the NCAA. Apparently, his parents got a payment from Penny to help them move. In those 3 games, he was dominant, putting up about 20 points per game, shooting over 76% from the field, and averaging over 10 rebounds and 3 blocks a game, all in those 3 games. And we all saw that during those 3 games, he showed tremendous upside. He's a really athletic 7'1", 240 big man. He's 7'1", like I said, he's really athletic. He's a great rebounder, a great shot blocker, and rim protector, and he shows a lot of upside defensively as well. Now, as far as his comparisons, the highest one that I've heard is Anthony Davis, which I think is outrageous because AD, he's on another level. And James Wiseman actually does have a decent jump shot, but I'm not somebody who wants to set expectations high to Hall of Fame or Hall of Fame talent players. I would consider his best player comp right now is Hassan Whiteside, and that's not even a slight. Hassan Whiteside is a really good player and somebody who can play great defense and get a lot of rebounds for your team. So I think that is actually a fair comparison. Just looking at all of the players that have been projected to go in the top 3 or the top 4, I gotta be honest. Yeah, I would take Anthony Edwards and LaMelo over James Wiseman just because guards, as far as today's game, are so much more useful than big men like him. I mean, he does fit that mold, like a Hassan Whiteside, like a DeAndre Ayton, a super athletic big who can get you a bunch of boards. If you plan on building around that, I'm not sure how far that really takes you, which is why I think that a team like the Golden State Warriors can really benefit from somebody like James Wiseman. I mean, we look at the Warriors past centers that they have been using. We look at Festus Ezeli, we look at Kevon Looney, we look at Willie Cauley-Stein. Like, there's nothing special about any of those guys, including JaVale McGee. there's nothing all that special. And instead of them getting another guard like LaMelo, like an Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman, and like I've said, he makes the most sense for them. He embodies everything that all those guys did as far as getting boards, as far as being really athletic, but he has more potential than all of those guys combined on his team. I don't see how you don't make that move. Now, personally, I do think that there are like a few teams that James Wiseman should be aiming to actually go to, and a few teams that I think should be looking at him if they can get him. One, obviously, is Golden State Warriors. In that video that I made about why the Golden State Warriors should be favorites for next year's championship, the Warriors have a bunch of assets, including this pick. They also have next year's Timberwolves pick, top 3 protected. They got a trade exception this year. They got Andrew Wiggins. They got a bunch of trade assets that can turn them into a bigger juggernaut than they were even whenever they had Kevin Durant. And they can do that long term with some of the young players that they can potentially acquire during the next few seasons. But another team that we should be looking at is somebody like the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I understand that he is a center, Towns is a center, but Towns did play power forward at Kentucky. And I do think that Towns at power forward would legitimately be overpowered. That would be like a Twin Towers front where Towns is one of the best shooting big men in the league. Having that with D'Angelo Russell and James Wiseman, the pick and roll game isn't just to be insane. We have two bigs. Towns is obviously not the best defender, but like I said, he's a juggernaut offensively. And then having a great rebounding, great defensive center in James Wiseman, that could be a great pickup by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Another team could possibly be the Detroit Pistons, depending on what they do with Christian Wood, Blake Griffin. That could actually work out as well. I don't think that Cleveland is going to be in contention. Neither will the Atlanta Hawks, being that they just got Clint Capella. But those are two teams that could definitely work with getting James Wiseman. But anyways, guys, that is what I think about James Wiseman. I think that he's a big man who's amazing defensively, super athletic, great rebounder. I don't think that he's somebody to actually build around, but I do think that if you already have a great guard on your team and you do not have a center, this guy can come right in and just contribute almost immediately. Like I've said, this is a guard-driven league. I mean, we look at some of the best players in the league right now. Majority of them are guards. I know that some of them are forwards like LeBron, KD, Giannis, and Kawhi, but those guys are literally ball dominant. And if you don't have a great guard on your team right now, you probably won't be winning a championship at all. Which is why I'm saying if the Golden State Warriors have any chance, they better get him. I don't want to hear about Obi Toppin or any of those other guys when literally that is already a position that the Golden State Warriors already had. Which is why when I hear about them drafting Anthony Edwards, I'm like, yeah, sure, that's cool long term, but you guys are really trying to win right now. You guys are not trading Klay Thompson. Even though I think that you guys are going to be, even though I think that you guys should trade Draymond, you guys probably won't, you guys probably don't want to do that. So why not get a piece that you guys actually need? Get a position player that you guys actually need who has more upside than any other player at that position on your roster, and somebody who's actually worthy of a top 3 pick. It's not like he's like the 42nd ranked prospect and you're taking him like with the 5th pick. This is somebody who's probably the number 3 guy in this entire draft. But anyways, guys, I do want to hear what you guys think about it in the comment section below. What do you guys think about James Wiseman? Where do you guys see him going in this year's draft? And what is y'all's player comparison to him? Who do you guys think that he most likely resembles? I've already said that I think it's Hassan Whiteside. And I think obviously he has more potential. He's only 19 years old, which is another reason why I do think that if the Warriors had that pick, they would take him, because I think that he fits in so perfectly with what they can actually do. And this is somebody, because normally like the past few years, they have a center, they gotta give him a new contract. It's never a long-term thing. With these rookie deals, you can have him for like 5 to 6 years, and maybe in like that 4th year, that's when we talk. That's when we actually get to talk extension. But I think that he's already more talented than all the centers on your roster, and probably more talented than any center that you guys can actually acquire in this year's free agency. And even with that trade exception money, I highly doubt that that's being used on a center at all. But anyways, guys, like I said before, like up this video. Of course, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Make sure to go ahead and follow me on Twitter at LegendaryEA, and also turn on post notifications. That is so important. And just let me know who you guys think that I should talk about next. I'm probably gonna be doing one on Cole Anthony, and maybe updating my one on LaMelo, because my one on LaMelo is from like last year. Everything came true in that video, but that's besides the point. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace, y'all.